All right, peace and blessings, everybody. Saturday, February 10th, the year 2018. Just wanted to make a quick video that show everything close up. You know, I haven't counted them, but I would estimate there's close to 30 little doohickey parts and springs and keepers and metal thingamabobs. And while it got too cold, basically. I'm a wussy when it comes to cold weather. It got below freezing. It started drizzling. And I said, man, I don't want to be worried about figuring out how to put all these pieces back together out in the cold while it's raining on me. And Aaron said it's going to be below freezing tomorrow too. So I pulled everything in the house and just made myself a little work table to kind of get familiar with all the little thingamabobs and doohickeys. And Monday, when the weather's a lot nicer, I'll jump back out there and try to put everything back together. My friend told me, Will, he's been a mechanic for 3 years, or he was a mechanic for 3 years, and he said that I'll need an axle seal when I go back and put that hub back on. And I looked that up on rockauto.com, and those axle seals are less than $5, so I can get a couple of them pretty cheap. And I appreciate that heads up. And so like I said, man, I'm not a professional mechanic, but I'm learning, and I'm saving myself some money. And when you guys give me tips like that, I really do appreciate it. So I'm glad I didn't put all that back and not replace the seal. It could have caused the gear oil to leak again, and who knows what kind of problems I would have continued to have. So again, I took all this thing cost $9.99 from AutoZone, and it's a spring kit. And I wanted to show what came with the spring kit and what did not come with the spring kit. So we'll go through this, and if you're interested in this sort of thing, then hang around. If not, no big deal. You know, you may be working through one of these. One of the things I noticed that has not been the case in other brake jobs that I've done is that the keeper springs are not the same on both sides. You got different keeper springs. This one was more of a yellow before I got grease all over it. And this one right here comes in 3 different pieces. This piece, and this was yellow kind of, or some weird color. And then it has the outer piece at your keeper bar. This keeper bar will come up from behind your wheel assembly and go through there and twist, and that'll hold your left shoe on. And so that'll sit there like that, and then your keeper bar will come up from behind. And then you have your bottom spring right here, and that goes on the bottom to keep the shoes at the bottom connected. And then this is connected to your self-adjuster, self-adjusting brakes. So as your shoes need to be spread more and more out, you can see all the little thingamabobs and doohickeys falling out on me. This, at my understanding, as your shoes spread out and wear out, this thing will adjust your adjuster. And this is what my friend Will said, that anti-seize and lubrication, you know, this thing slips off, and I guess there'll need to be some lubrication put up in there. And then you'll want to check this to make sure the teeth are good all the way around. You don't want to put back on a bad one. They do sell these. You know, you can buy new ones if you need to, but this one looks okay. And then, of course, there's threads, and you'll want to put lubrication all along the threads. And this thing will self-adjust, you know, as it's needed, because what happens is this little bar here will push down as it's needed to over time. I keep knocking this little keeper off, don't I? So again, don't forget your spring on the bottom. That'll go, and keep in mind you could put your spring like that, but then it's going to mess up with your adjuster. So you got to only mount your spring the right way, and so make sure the spring part is on the right hand side, and it'll probably be the opposite for the other wheel. If we move our attention, I'll just hang that in there right quick. If we move our attention to the top and zoom in, this thing right here, I don't know if you guys can see that. There's 2 of those that came in the kit, and this is the clip that will hold your emergency brake on, and it'll come over here somewhere. Somewhere over here, I zoomed out, didn't I? I believe somewhere over here, this clip will be very important to hold your emergency brake line, and when you plug in your emergency brake, it pushes those shoes apart. But do not lose that little clip. You got 2 of them in your little bag, your bag, and you don't want to lose those. Now, I've put up the old master cylinder here to show where not the master cylinder, sorry, the wheel cylinder. Like I said, I don't always use the right words. But if you turn this thing around, that's where your brake line connects. That's your 2 bolts. Remember, this is a 1/2 inch. That was 9/16. And then this is where you bleed the whole thing. The last thing you do when you do any brake job is you bleed the brakes. And you might need somebody to help you with that if you don't have you know, somebody to push on the brake pedal. But don't forget about that, to bleed the brakes when you're done, and that'll go right there. And then these pieces did not come new, and so these pieces sit up on your shoe, and they go inside your wheel cylinder like that. I don't know if you guys can see that. I'm gonna try to zoom in. And as your shoe goes in and out, you know, this thing will push your shoe out and apply your brakes. And so these did not come new. You'll want to make sure you keep your old ones. The other thing that did not come new, let me zoom out again. That did not come new, and I have to make sure I keep. Zoom in right there. There's a spring right there. Let me just pull it out. This spring right here, I was surprised. It did not come in the packet. And it goes right up here against the left shoe casing, or the left shoe housing. Look at this thing. And it goes right there. And I was surprised that the new spring kit did not come with it. So be aware of that. The other thing I was surprised at is this thing. This spring did not come new with the kit. So I have to use the old one. It absolutely was not in there. If I zoom in on the top again, I don't know. This thing is a bar, and you know, you want to make sure you install it the proper way. I looked at the picture, and I'm pretty confident. See, it's not symmetrical, so I'm pretty confident it goes like that. You could put it like that, but that's not the way the picture was. So that's why it's important to look at what you got before you tear it up, so you can put it back. The other thing is, the other spring, this thing has some kind of weird thingamabob on the end. I don't know what that's for. The other one didn't have that, so I don't know. That's kind of weird. But that goes right there to kind of separate the two shoes. You got your pistons. You know, I already talked about those. You got your right spring. I call it the orange spring because it's orange. And then this thing is going to sit on the back side to kind of keep your top of your shoes aligned. This did not come new. So let me try to get that out of there. You got to reuse the old part here. Whoops. So make sure you keep that. That's going to hook in right here. You guys see that? And then it's going to come up to that bar, and then you got a blue spring that also you have to keep, and that's your blue left top spring. But just make sure you put anti-seize where all the contact points are, that you lubricate your adjusters, and I should be okay. I think I got everything I need. I was just kind of surprised that they didn't give me this spring, and I was kind of surprised they didn't give me that spring. And but we'll use the old ones, and we should be okay. And anyway, that's enough of that. I kind of went through in detail a close-up of all the brake cylinder parts. But if you know, you guys see what I mean. If you don't know where all these pieces go when you get started, you're gonna be scratching your head for a long time. So it's really good to become familiar when you start putting all this together, that you have it straight in your head. Take care, God bless, have a great weekend.